I could not get enough of this new poll from CNN and ORC. It is cataclysmic for the Obama administration, for the Bush administration, for all the war hawks, for all of the establishment, for the military-industrial complex. It is a complete and utter rebuke of the policies they're in favor of. After more than 12 years of being in Afghanistan, support for the war is now at historic lows. And when I say the word historic, I mean historic. Not just like, oh yeah, you know, it's low for Afghanistan by Afghanistan standards. I mean, it was peaked high and now it's hovering around 50% or something like that. No. The details are amazing. Quote, support for the war is dipping below levels of support for American intervention in Iraq and Vietnam. The war in Afghanistan is now less popular than Vietnam, which has gone down in history as one of the most epic mistakes in American history. So how many people supported intervention in Vietnam at its lowest point? 27%. How many people supported intervention in Iraq at its lowest point? 26%. How many people support the war in Afghanistan today? 17%. God damn. No, it's over. I mean, the American people, they are so sick and tired of being the world policeman and getting involved in other people's affairs and determining that we need to be imperialists. I mean, I go over these statistics every day. I'm tired of hearing them, but they're so incredible that I keep repeating them. We have 900 military bases around the world. Why? Now, some people fire back at me and they say, well, look, man, some of those bases only have 10 people and they don't really do much or whatever. But I think that proves my point even more. So why are they there? You're still wasting hundreds of thousands of dollars in each individual one, and actually it's more like millions of dollars in each individual one. If you're worried about the deficit, like so many people on the left and the right pretend to be, okay, that's where you cut first. 57% of discretionary spending is military spending. That's insanity. Education is like 2%. Have we totally lost our priorities? So when you think of the war in Iraq, it's going to cost $7 trillion by the year 2053, when all is said and done after you add up the interest and all that stuff, okay? Afghanistan, same thing. Add another trillion to that. I mean, we spend more money on the military in the U.S. than the next 14 largest nations do on their militaries. And they're the next biggest militaries in the world, combined. Us, bigger than the next 14 combined. And most of them are our allies. So what are we doing? And the American people are saying very loud and clear, stop! Now, the unfortunate thing about this is this going to actually change anything? Well, no, we don't have a democracy. We have a kleptocracy, is one way of describing it, government of, by, and for the rich, or an oligarchy, or a plutocracy. These are all, loosely defined terms that are very related, which basically means government of, by, and for the rich. And there are a lot of people who get very wealthy off of war. I know that sounds conspiratorial, but you can tell yourself pretty little lies and pretty little rationalizations if you're the head of one of these defense companies, and make yourself think, no, we totally have to stay in Afghanistan for like 11 more years, which, by the way, is what it is. They're trying right now to get Hamid Karzai of Afghanistan to sign a deal that keeps us there 11 more years. And he was going to do it, but thankfully he's kind of backing out here at the last second because he has concerns. And get this, I get a kick out of this Orwellian line in the article. Quote, a recent national intelligence estimate predicted that gains made by the United States would be significantly lost by 2017 if the United States and Afghanistan do not make a new security pact allowing troops beyond the deadline. We're going to lose our significant gains if we leave there. What gains are you talking about? That's the most vague, generalized, nonsensical statement I've ever read. What gains are you talking about? This reminds me, back during the Bush administration, when the war in Iraq, when they were doing the surge, the Bush administration actually made this claim, and the press bought it, they said, oh yeah, we understand that violence is way up this month and there's a lot of people that are dying, but that's okay because that's evidence that the surge is working because it shows that the insurgency is in its last throes. So when violence was up, it's evidence the surge is working. When violence is down, it's evidence the surge is working. So let me see if I understand this correctly. No matter what happens, you're saying that's evidence that the surge is working. That doesn't make sense. Logically speaking, that's impossible. You're making a non-falsifiable claim. You're saying we're right no matter what happens, we're right, and the surge is working. Well, this is the same thing here. Oh, we'll lose our gains. What gains are you fucking referring to? Look, if you're concerned, oh my God, Al-Qaeda is an issue and this and that, I agree with you. But if you want to actually fight Al-Qaeda, go ahead, join the French in northern Mali. That's where Al-Qaeda actually is. Northern Mali is basically Al-Qaedistan. Okay, you're worried about Al-Qaeda? Well, you are engaged in basically covert wars in Pakistan and Yemen and Somalia. You're doing drone strikes there. That's more where there are extremists. And by the way, your drone strikes are making it worse anyway. But that's where the problem is. Afghanistan has its own Taliban issues, but nothing we're going to do is going to stop that or change that. They got to handle that on their own. I mean, same thing with Iraq. There was no Al-Qaeda in Iraq until we went there. So we're just like fucking Mr. Magoo or Mr. Bean with our foreign policy. We're like tripping over ourselves like the Three Stooges, wasting trillions of dollars when the population is screaming at the top of their lungs, stop it!